You are listening to Marbella with him and her. He is
PJ Lopez and she is
Hannah Murray. And we're back.
We are. And we went out for a nice meal this week, didn't we?
A few. We've had a busy week.
Yes.
I don't know how we keep on having these busy weeks.
I know, and it does sound to people that we just go out and eat lots.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we do.
Yeah, I think you might have a
We
point.
should stay in more. In fact, we've just had a conversation about we should stay in more, but our podcast wouldn't be as interesting.
Yes, we can imagine it. So what did you do this week? We stayed in.
Watched a bit of telly.
Yeah, had something to eat, went to bed, got up.
So we're spending money for you.
Yes, just for you.
Yeah,
Remember that?
exactly. We're having a terrible time, but we're doing it just to tell you what we're doing.
Yes. So where did we go?
Well, on Tuesday night, we went to Musaka, which is a new, if I say new, it's not that new now, is it? A couple of years?
Oh, I don't know if it's a couple of years. Maybe it is.
So.
Yeah, it's probably over a year now.
It's in San Pedro. It used to be Ambrosia along the end of the boulevard near La Colonia.
Away from town, really.
Yeah.
It's on the far end of the...
Yeah, great little venue. They've got a big outside terrace and then you can be inside as well. And it's a Greek international restaurant. So it's not completely Greek, but they do a lot of Greek food. And we love Greek food.
Yeah, so we're really excited when it first opened because there aren't any Greek restaurants very close by. I mean,
No,
I think
exactly.
we've now found out there is one in the Met Hotel down in Cancelada, which we're yet to try.
Yet to try.
And
Apparently it's very pricey, but
Yes.
it's very lovely.
Musaka was great. We had a cool deals, didn't we?
Yeah, friends of ours bought us a cool deals for our birthday. So thank you very much, Debbie and Peter. And we enjoyed it on Tuesday. And I have to say, the food was absolutely delicious.
Yes, I might have overeaten.
Yeah, we were a bit full when we left, but comfortably full, I feel.
Oh, I think I might have gone a bit beyond
Slightly
that.
okay.
Yes.
So with the cool deals, you got a drink and a starter and a main. So on his advice, which is good advice, we ordered something different for the starter and different from the mains and shared it all.
Yeah, we shared everything, didn't we?
Yeah. So for starters, we had this dish that I cannot remember what it was called, but it was really, really nice, packed with oregano. Love oregano, which is very Greek. Oregano, feta cheese, and there was aubergine and peppers.
Wasn't it those baby aubergines?
No, not this time. That was something we had the time before.
Okay. So I remember it really well.
It was really good. And we also had as a starter, what was the other thing?
Feta sap? No. Feta sap.
Oh, halloumi.
Oh, yes. Halloumi.
That was so good. Baked halloumi in a tomato-y sauce.
With oregano on.
With oregano. It was absolutely delicious.
Do you know what? I love that feeling of halloumi when you eat it and it makes your teeth squeaky.
That was so good. And then for main, we had calamari stufado, which was really good. We weren't exactly sure what it was going to be, like a kind of stew thing. He said it was like in a tomato-y sauce, and it was lovely. So it was rings of calamari, but they weren't fried, so it was healthier. And it was in like a tomato-y oregano stew. Really nice, delicious.
Very tasty. And we had a moussaka.
And Musaka.
Being that we're in
Musaka.
There you go, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. I do like a moussaka, actually.
Yeah.
I do.
We could make some at home, couldn't we?
Well, you don't like mince, which is why you don't always like that one.
Was there mince in it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was delicious. We had nice big gin and tonics as well. And on the way home, we wanted to check out El Grifo, which is opposite.
What used to be in its place was a place called Inda Food.
Inda Food.
Which I wasn't sure if that's going to be African or a bit jive, a bit hip. It was actually a Russian place, like Inda Food. Why did I say that like a Jamaican?
I don't know. So
anyway,
don't do the accent.
It was that. I mean, that was very nice when that was there because they used to do some really interesting things like mac and cheese and things like that. But it's now called El Grifo, and they've revamped it slightly, and it's essentially a artisan beer. So what do you call it? Craft beer?
Craft beer place, yeah.
Yeah, but I have seen on Instagram that they've been putting up that they're doing for $3.99 these little plates of food, and they look really nice. So, and it's really cheap for that type of food. So, yeah, really looking forward to trying that properly.
Sold. We need to go there, definitely. And it was nice when we walked home, seeing a lot of restaurants really busy. De Bruno's was packed, normally is.
I think most of the restaurants down there had people in them. So, yeah, it's good to see because that's really important for them. But we were talking to some other people in the business as well, and they've told us that it's been a tough year for the restaurant and hospitality industry. mainly because a lot of people haven't been going out. I mean, I think we know that there's a lot of people here because we can see it.
Yeah, the numbers are up tourist-wise, interestingly, but less people are going out. Or if they are going out, it's not every night. They're staying in more apartments than hotels, and they're going to the supermarket and they're buying food and they're having barbecues and things, and they're staying in more.
Yeah, and I guess it's the cost of living. I mean, I think across the world, you know, with everything that's going on and the conflicts and stuff, the cost of living has gone up. That's now been passed on to the end user, which is us, when we go out to a restaurant, because they've got no choice. You know, the cost of their goods has gone up from their wholesale suppliers. So it's not as cheap as it was to go and eat out.
Yeah, I met up with a friend of mine this week who supplies wine for a lot of bars and restaurants and nightclubs and things along the Costa del Sol. Costa del Sol.
And you sound Dutch.
And she was saying that one of her long-standing customers, a popular restaurant on the coast, she said that this past week they hadn't ordered any wine, and it was the first time in like 15 years that they hadn't placed an order, which is a big deal, like a massive deal.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a similar story for lots of other people. You know, if they're not selling it, then they don't need to replace it. So, yeah, let's fingers crossed that things pick up for hospitality, because, I mean, as you know, we like to eat out, so we want there to be lots of good restaurants.
Yeah,
and we want to see people in them.
The prices can come down for everyone involved.
Yeah, that would be good. And the other thing, we're in this sort of situation, aren't we, in Marbella itself, and certainly around this sort of area, where it's trying to push up to be a bit more glam.
Yeah.
So prices are sort of going up as well because of that. So I think we're in a bit of a strange situation. And I think that's fine during the summer where they might get that type of business. But of course, as soon as the people have gone and you're down with your residents, it's the residents that aren't going to pay those prices. So it's going to be interesting to see how they cope off-season. Really.
Yeah, definitely. Always a telling time. We have had an interesting time over the last couple of days trying to get OASIS tickets, like lots of other people, and didn't manage to. It was very, very frustrating. We were online for hours, weren't we?
It looked like NASA.
Yes, with both of our laptops, both of our phones. Thankfully, we did other things at the same time. We watched a bit of telly and we were doing other stuff.
Otherwise you would have just...
we sat there staring at screens. 5 hours. But it took forever. We were in a queue in order to be in a queue.
Well, no, you woke up, I don't know why you randomly woke up at something like 8 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
And you logged on with a phone, I think.
Yeah, I logged on with my phone because I wanted to check that 9 a.m. was 9 a.m. UK time and that was going to be 10 a.m. for us. So I thankfully just went onto the website and it said that the ticket system was opening in an hour and 20 minutes or whatever. But that obviously stayed open on my phone. So that got me in the queue earlier on my phone, which I was grateful for.
We were lucky because there were only 270,000 people in front of you.
Yeah.
But on the computer and the other phone and your laptop, we were in a queue to enter the website, to be into the queue. So, and I think I did get in there once, and I think there were 470,000 people in front of me. So, yeah, we were going to stand a chance.
Ridiculous.
Really.
Absolutely ridiculous. But I saw various friends on social media around the world saying that they got really close. One friend who we bumped into the other night, she said that she'd literally got to the stage where she put her card details in to get tickets, and she was absolutely ecstatic. And then, like, her card was rejected for no apparent reason. You know, she got money on the card and it was just rejected. And that was it. And then she was at the beginning of the queue.
Yeah, once it failed, you went back to the beginning again.
And another friend of mine, all his mates, they were on. And then eventually they got through, and the tickets in Cardiff, the cheapest ones were £435, which was way more than they were planning to spend. So they all had this big discussion, then decided to go for it. We're going for it, and then the system crashed. I mean, just so many heartbreaking, very, very annoying stories.
Yeah.
You just know the air would have been blue in all of the households going, what that?
Yes, and I think the big thing that's annoyed a lot of fans is the fact that they're using this, what they call on-demand ticketing system. So a bit like Uber. When you call Uber at a busy time, and there's lots of people trying to use Uber, the price will go up.
Yeah.
And they were doing that on the tickets, but that wasn't fair because they said the tickets would be this price. And they said, you know, if you're a tout, you can't sell the tickets on. You can only sell the tickets at face value. You can only do it through Ticketmaster for the face value ticket price, blah, blah, blah.
Other websites that were selling them for like £1,000, saying that's disgusting.
Disgusting. You can't do that. And yet they went and did it. Because more people were trying to buy tickets, they decided to start charging £400, £500 and £600 for a ticket that should have been 90 or 100
on Ticketmaster. Yeah.
So the whole experience hasn't been great.
No, and there's a lot of unhappy fans on social media, isn't there?
Yeah, and they're going to look back in anger. Yeah. And I think Sally is still on there.
She can wait.
She can, yes.
Oh, dear. So we haven't got Oasis tickets. But, I mean, the reality is we realised it would have cost us about £1,000 in order to go and
minimum.
Because of the tickets and then the flights and then the accommodation. And
as we saw, there was a story in the paper, I think, where this hotel had sort of had a fault, funny enough. They had a fault on their website, which managed to kick off all the people that had bookings before and then unbook them. And then to rebook, it was 3 times as much as it was before.
Horrendous.
But I think that's going to happen everywhere around all the venues. That's why we actually wanted Wembley, because we thought if we do Wembley, we don't have to say central London. We could stay anywhere around London. There's a lot of choice and get the train in or whatever it is. And
plus there's multiple airports in London to fly to.
So I think if you got the likes of Dublin or Edinburgh, you can only really go to Dublin. You fly into Dublin and you've got to stay in Dublin. So, of course, the prices are going to go up because you've got this catchment area that they can do it with.
So, yes, disappointed.com. Something I wasn't disappointed about was Friday lunch. It was absolutely delicious. I met a friend of mine in Marbella at a suggestion of hers, a restaurant called Calma, Calma, which is just in front of the El Fuerte Hotel.
Yes, although I couldn't find you, but that's probably me and my sat-nav. I went down a one-way street. No, not a one-way street, a dead end.
Yeah, there's a few around there. It's difficult to get to. Yes, it was in front of the El Fuerte and just before the kind of blue single home building. I could see that when I was sat at the back. They had really comfortable... I didn't make use of the beds, but they had really comfortable beds that were just all... So no kind of wooden beds at all. They were kind of soft, really hard to explain, but really nice beds. And I asked him how much they were, €20 a day. So really, really good price.
Not bad. That's very
for
good.
Beds.
That's actually cheaper than San Pedro.
Yeah. We had a delicious lunch. One of the things we had that was gorgeous were these little crystal prawns, like really, really small prawns that were fried, deep fried. So probably not the healthiest thing in the world, with jamon and fried egg. So, like the huevos rotos. And it would normally be with chips. So instead of chips, it was these tiny little prawns. So you eat them whole. They're really, really small, deep fried.
I've seen them in the supermarket.
Yeah. It was so delicious. There was obviously lots of salt on there, so it was really salty and gorgeous.
Oh, we've got prawns tonight. I'm going to make a prawn pill pasta.
So lucky. We've discovered many times in the past, if going out for lunch, it's kind of advisable to not then go out for dinner. But I did that on Friday because I was in the zone and
you weren't coming out of that zone despite some recommendations by myself.
We got home because PJ picked me up, which is very kind. And it was like, we're in time for Hogan's happy hour. Let's go to Hogan's Stand. So we went to Hogan's Stand, bumped into so many people we know. It really is, honestly, if you're looking to make friends, go to the Hogan's Stand happy hour on a Friday night, because it's absolutely buzzing. So we bumped into loads of people we know, had lots of chats. It was really, really nice. And then we went out for dinner with our friends Amy and Ross, who own the Hogan Stand, and their kids as well. And we went to Chef by Divot, and it was great.
Yes, we've mentioned it before on the podcast because we went there when it first opened. And we pretty much had what we had last time. But everybody had the same thing, including the kids.
Yeah, we all had Chateaubriand.
Yeah, and we all cooked it ourselves on our little barbecue things that they gave you. We also had the Caesar salad.
Yeah, made at the table.
At the table. We had scallops, which we didn't have really last time. Yeah, they were amazing.
Yeah. We really rate the food there, honestly. The Chateaubriand we can highly recommend, and they loved it. They loved their meat, and everybody thought the meat was great, really, really great quality, and being able to kind of cook it yourself. I mean, it takes seconds. It's really hot what they have in front of you. You've got the tongs, and you literally just put it one way, turn it over, and it's done. I mean, it's ever so quick.
And it was just like butter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was, beautiful.
Really good. Love it.
So, and I like that because it's the second time we've been there, and it's the second time it's been as equally good as the first time. So that shows consistency for me, which is good.
Happy with that. We had a brilliant night last night as well, going to see Jimmy Carr. So before we went to see Jimmy Carr, so there was a group of us, 8 of us, where we went to dinner beforehand, and we went somewhere we'd never been before, not since it's rebranded anyway, Fat Mama Trattoria.
Yes, so this is in Nueva Andalusia, so it's past the boring, past Centro Plaza. You carry on going down the hill, and there's a big roundabout, and it's just on the corner there. It used to be called
Pasta Cafe.
And it's now this Fat Mama's Trattoria, and it was gorgeous.
Really nice. So Italian. So I didn't want anything too rich or too heavy, having gone slightly over the top the day before. So I had a pasta with pesto pasta. Was so nice. I love basil so much. It's gorgeous. 3 big leaves of basil on top that I demolished along with the pasta and the sauce.
And they gave you a good amount of parmesan. I hate it when you go to a restaurant, especially Italian, and you have to ask for parmesan, and they just come around and give you a little sprinkling, and then
they
can I have more?
Do it
themselves. So they had tubs of parmesan on it. So that was good. And I had a spicy pizza.
Yeah, you were the only one to have pizza, weren't you? Everybody else had pasta. And then everybody were like, can I have a bit of yours?
Exactly. I knew it would happen. I knew there would be food envy. So everybody that had pasta just looked at my pizza and went, So I ended up sharing out lots of my pizza.
It was nice. You always have the Diavolo, don't you? The spicy one, pepperoni.
Yeah, and it was lovely. But I've got to say, even sharing out bits and pieces of it, I was still absolutely stuffed afterwards. So it was lovely. And it was quite interesting, wasn't it? So we're sitting there, and there was a woman behind us, very well dressed, like in a lovely dress, sipping coffee.
Yeah.
And there was a violinist going around, and he was great. He was playing some really good tunes on the violin.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, she got up and started singing opera.
It was incredible.
And I swear we were going to be in the middle of one of those flash mobs. I thought, I was looking around thinking, everybody's going to stand up, everybody's going to jump and stand. It's all cleverly done, because I think they wanted people to really, just see her sitting there drinking coffee. Yeah. And suddenly she gets up and starts singing. But wow, what a voice.
She did Nessun Dorma and everything, World Cup vibes.
Yeah, it was incredible. So that just gave a little bit more atmosphere to the place.
Yeah, brilliant. And then we went to see Jimmy Carr, who was just hilarious.
He's a very naughty man.
He's a very naughty boy. Now, it's really difficult to explain, because it's one of those things, if you even start to talk about the kind of things he was joking about, taken out of context, just sound completely inappropriate.
Watch it. Just take our word for it. It was very rude, very close to the mark, very sexual. So it's not for young people, that's for sure.
No.
It's not for people that
easily offended.
Exactly. Good word. Yeah.
Or even just offended in general.
Yeah. Just don't see. In fact, don't see any comedians stand up, because they're all like that.
No, I mean, listen, there were so many things. I'm not going to go into detail, but there were so many things that he joked about, which in reality aren't funny at all. Lots of things that just aren't funny. Really serious things to do with health and illness and
gender
and sick people and gender. I mean, all kinds of things that you and I, not all of the things he talked about, but some of the things that could be close to our hearts, and we could easily say, how can you joke about that? It's just not funny.
But that's what comedians do. Yeah. And that's the idea, isn't it?
And it's really great to be able to laugh at these things, because there is so much stuff in life that isn't funny,
and you've got to joke about it,
and you have to be able to joke about it. I think humor can get you through really dark times in life, and I loved the way that he brought some seriousness to it. There was a couple of things he talked about. One thing I remember that was just brilliantly done. He was talking about men who hit their wives, basically, domestic abuse. He made a few, inappropriate jokes, whatever. The whole thing was basically inappropriate jokes. But then he got serious. Then he said, there'll be people in this arena tonight that are feeling uncomfortable with me telling these jokes, because it's really hitting home to them. And he kind of went quiet, and there was, a bit of murmuring, bit of clapping, bit of laughing. And he said, you're feeling really uncomfortable now, aren't you? Good.
Yeah, and then moved on to the next stuff.
And then moved on, and everyone was clapping and cheering. And really nicely done. And he did the serious thing about mental health and men, particularly the importance of men. He said all men in this room need to go and see a therapist. He was talking about how women, when they get together, they talk about their emotions, they talk about things that are going on in their lives, and men generally don't. Again, there were some inappropriate suicide jokes, and then he talked about the real seriousness of suicide, and with men particularly, and literally said to people, go and speak to someone.
Yeah.
Find someone to talk to. There's always someone to talk to. You're not alone. And again, everyone was clapping.
Yeah, very cleverly done.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is these days you got the woke police out there. So if he did this show on TV, they would remove it immediately. It'll be all over social media saying, how could he do this? How could he say that? This is where comedians get their material. This is where it's from. And as I said, you've got to be able to laugh at these sort of things. You know, if they took all of that away, what's he going to joke about? I went to Sainsbury's the other day and bought an aubergine. And that's it. I mean, yeah, he wouldn't nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to laugh at yourself. And he did that to himself. He called himself a few names quite. Yeah. It started off by doing that.
Definitely.
So he can laugh at himself. And it was just a great night.
Yeah, really cleverly done. And really showed the importance of humour. All of us in the group, we were all laughing hysterically out loud, and there were moments that all of us were like,
yeah, there was lots of sharp intakes of breath.
Yeah, because there were lots of shocking things that he said, but it's kind of difficult to explain, and I'm not going to explain any of the jokes because it'll all come across as inappropriate and we'll make ourselves look bad for laughing at them. But it is what it is, and we thought it was brilliant. He's a very clever guy.
Well, we like comedy, and we haven't finished yet, have we? We've got Michael McIntyre.
Oh, really exciting.
So that's coming up soon. Good night was had by all.
We have quite obsessively over the last couple of days got into watching the TV series Welcome to Wrexham.
It's amazing.
It's so good. It's all about the Hollywood film and TV stars Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that sounds wrong, the surname McElhenney.
Something like that. That's why they say Rob and the other one.
Ryan and the other one, yeah. They're really funny. And they've made this documentary. So they took over, they bought this football club in North Wales. And of course, all the fans and people in the area, everybody was a bit suspicious at the beginning, thinking, well, why? What are their interests? And concerned that it was all about money and they weren't doing it for the right reasons. And they've really, really got into not just football, but one of them's been learning Welsh. And, I mean, they've really immersed themselves in the town,
in Wrexham,
haven't they?
Yeah.
In Wrexham.
It's amazing. I mean, because Wrexham, I remember I've been going to watch football since I was a child. So, quite a few years ago. And Wrexham were in the leagues. You know, my team played Wrexham various times, but they're now in the lowest tier. They're just outside of the... I don't know if they are now, and I don't want anybody to tell us otherwise.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm going to stop that conversation there because we haven't finished it. But it's a great series.
Yeah. There's season 3 out now, and we've just finished season 1.
So I reckon by the end of tonight, we would have done season 2, the way we're going at it. And while we're talking of football, by the way, I'm sitting here in my Crystal Palace top because Crystal Palace played Chelsea today at Stamford Bridge. And we play in a thing called Last Man Standing. It's run by the Hogan Stand, and it's a competition where you put some money in and there's a big pot, and basically the last man standing, so you pick a team to win each week, and the last man standing wins the pot.
And I've won it twice.
You have won it twice, yes. Okay, I haven't won it yet. And there were so many people, including you, that chose Chelsea to beat Crystal Palace.
Sorry. That'll teach me.
That will teach you, because Crystal Palace drew with Chelsea today.
Well done, darling. Well done.
Thank you very much. And about 58 people went out today.
Got it.
I'm not.
No. We wanted to inform you that tickets for Abigail's party are officially on sale. We've been rehearsing since July. And as of this week, September, we're ramping it up from 1 rehearsal a week to 2 rehearsals a week, Monday and Wednesday evenings, rehearsing for Abigail's party. So we're frantically trying to learn our lines. We're doing all right, but still a long way to go. But tickets are on sale, which is very exciting. So if you'd like to buy tickets for Abigail's party, the show is the 2nd or 3rd weekend in October.
Oh, it's the first weekend in October.
No, it's not the first weekend in October.
It's in October.
In October. If you go to internationaltheatrestudio.org, then you can see when it is and buy your tickets. It's at the El Paraiso Hotel, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
Beverly Where are the olives?
They're in the kitchen, Lawrence. Lawrence, if you want olives, would you put them out, please?
There's a little teaser for you.
So in English articles, not much to report on this week, just a couple of things I saw. There was an interesting interview with the founder of Spain's famous Ali Hop store chain. Do you say Ali Hop?
I didn't think they were Spanish. I thought they were Scandinavian.
No, they're Spanish.
Wow.
He says they have 250 shops in Spain and then 55 in Portugal, Italy and Croatia.
And you always know where they are, don't you? Because they've got a big cow out.
A massive cow. And he says it's the most photographed cow in the world. But if you haven't been into an Ali Hop store...
Is that outside of the Kardashians? Can't believe I said that.
Oh my God, that's so rude.
Anyway, go back to your story.
I think you're Jimmy Carr now, don't you? Great for presents. They do really cool stuff, loads of cool gadgets. They do fans, they do slippers, they do towels, they do sunglasses, they do bracelets, they do loads of great stationery things. I mean, literally, it's a great shop. Can highly recommend it. There was also an interesting article talking about the world premiere of the Netflix series Chaos, which was partly filmed in Malaga, filmed at various locations around Spain and Italy and various places, but a lot of it filmed in Malaga. Apparently, it was 2 years in the making. It had a ridiculously big budget of 50 million euros.
I remember this, Jeff Goldblum being in it, yes.
I want to see it because it's based in Malaga, a lot of it, but it doesn't sound like my kind of thing. It says it's a thriller laced with black humour that takes from Greek mythology to update the eternal struggle between man and the gods.
It's a struggle I've had for a long time, to be fair. Not one I'm winning at the moment, I must say.
No, well done, the gods. So yeah, if you're interested in watching that Chaos, it's called Kaos. And I was really excited to see, this is worth looking up for future weekends away or trips away, flights to Paris for under 20 euros
Where did you
and
that?
other bargain basement fares flying from Granada.
20... Right, I'm off.
He's gone to book flights to Paris. I haven't looked at it. You never know when it talks about these flight sales. Someone said to me once they only need to sell 2 or 3 at that price and they haven't lied and all the rest are more expensive. So apologies if you don't have luck with
that through.
I don't know. It was just the headline. I thought, worth having a look at.
I do get emails quite regularly from Wizz Air and those sort of things, and they do say there's flights from $12.99, and I've bought a flight for $12.99 to the UK. So
there you go.
It tends to be obviously on the least popular days, but
have to be flexible.
Yeah, when I go to the UK, I tend to go on a non-popular day so I can get a cheap flight. It's the coming back that's the issue, and it's always the coming back that's the issue because you're flying into a holiday resort.
Yeah. Well, it's worth looking up. So if you fancy looking at flights to Paris or anywhere else, have a look at Google Flights. It's something we've discovered recently. We normally use Skyscanner to look for flights and compare the different prices. If you just basically go to Google and then type in Google Flights, this search system comes up in Google, which is really good. And yeah, I won't go into more details, but check it out. It's worth looking at.
If we get a flight to Paris, you think we'll see Emily?
Maybe. Hope so. Talking about comparing prices, I saw Martin Lewis at the Jimmy Carr concert last night. The money guy.
Surprised he could afford it.
He obviously looked at all the different prices.
He must have got the cheaper tickets when they were on sale.
I expect so. We'd better sign off there because it's been a long one. Thank you for being with us. It is goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her.